Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Mitchell, Associate Editor with Plume. Welcome to the new video edition of our monthly issue entitled 7 Minutes With. We'll spotlight a different poet each month and their 7-minute responses. Our first poet is the marvelous John Skoyles. So how did the idea for the poem Friends and Dreams come to you? Is there an origin story you'd like to share with us?
On January 15th of 2020, I had a dream. My friend Roger Skillings had called me and asked me to have a drink with him. And I don't drink anymore, but I thought, that's okay, he won't mind. He won't mind if I have a non-alcoholic beer. So I said, oh, that'd be great. Anyway, I woke up that morning and I said, I just felt that Roger had died. And I tried Googling him, but he lives in Provincetown, a small town. I couldn't find anything. It troubled me all day. And about 2 o'clock that afternoon, I was in the car and I got a text message from my friend Bert Yarborough who said Roger had died. And I nothing like that had ever happened to me before. And I didn't really know how to, as they say, process it these days, but it stayed with me. And I had so many other friends who had died recently: Bill Knott, Tom Lux, Tony Hoagland. I began thinking about it, and I remember I had a teacher once who said about dream poems, describe a dream, lose a reader. So I thought I had banned dream poems for a while, but then I had read so many wonderful dream poems that I thought that kept me away from something. So I wrote that poem, Friends and Dreams, thinking about Roger, really, and that's really what inspired that poem. I put in things from it, it doesn't really follow his death, but it opened the door to being able to write about that. I think the 3 poems, The Revenants, Friends and Dreams, and there's a third poem, Last Words, Last Rites, Last Acts, are all really part of the same thing.
John, you've been able to live a poet's life. What's been terrific about it and what's been maybe not so much?
Well, the great thing about it is the friendships, the wonderful community of people who we all love the same things. When we read a good poem, we appreciate it, we mention it, we're taking a walk together, and a friend might quote lines from a poem that we know or we don't know. We go look it up. I think the community in which we don't have to explain ourselves is precious. We don't have to say that what we feel and what we do, which is, go to the poetry sections of a bookstore. It's always very small, but it's sustaining. It's sustained me over my life. What's not great about it is you have to have 2 jobs. You have to work. I don't expect to get paid to be a poet, but the Medicis aren't around, and they probably wouldn't hire me anyway. But you have to you do 2 things, and it's tough because you work all week, or you teach and you prepare, and then you have your family and your errands, and then you have to carve out time, and it's hard to do that. So that's the tough part, but certainly a small thing to complain about compared to the rewards.
And my last question, do you have any advice, encouragement, and/or cautions for beginning poets?
I like that question about advice to younger poets. I had good advice, not from my teachers, but from those at the Fine Arts Work Center. I remember one day I ran into Grace Paley, and she said, "What's the matter, John?" And I said, "Oh, I just saw the list of the National Book Award finalists, and they left off this book and that book." And she looked at me and said, "What does that have to do with your work?" And I was 24, and I thought, she's right. What the hell does that have to do with my work? What do I care about these prizes? And that was the most liberating thing, because at Iowa, everybody wanted to have if you won a prize, it meant you were great. And we know that's not true, but it takes a few years to know it. So I was fortunate to run into her then. But I think on a positive note, it's to learn from everything that you read or you encounter and not cut yourself off from anything. And it's funny because last night I was watching a baseball game, and they had an interview with Paul Goldschmidt, the first baseman of the St. Louis Cardinals. And they said, first basemen are great talkers, right? Because when the hitter gets to first base, you talk to him and you say, where are you going out to dinner? And Goldschmidt said, well, I don't do that. When a great hitter gets a hit, or I see him hit a pitch that I say to him, how did you hit that pitch? Or I pick his brain over something. So I think that's an important thing to try to do, to keep your eye on the main thing all the time. Also, to not be after perfection. That would be the end of everything. You can like a poem even if you don't like parts of it. One example might be the Bronze David of Donatello by Randall Jarrell, because there's a stanza in that I've always found very moving, which says, "To so much strength, those overcome by it seemed girls, and death came to it like a girl, came to it through the soft air like a bird, so that the boy is like a girl, is like a bird standing on something it has pecked to death." That's worth the poem for me. So whatever those two bits of advice are worth, I pass them on.